about cars and things, about being a star and things. I thought that I would outgrow this feeling. It seems my dream won't go away, so it's more like...
Hello, welcome, I'm Devil Sniper and today I'm bringing you episode number 6 of our career mode with Frankfurt. So the transfer window finally shut and I believe we brought in some fantastic players. We brought in Jimenez, Hakan and Annunaki. Then we've had slight issues with Jimenez. Unfortunately it took a little bit longer to get his work permit. It's been a nightmare. It's safe to say it's been a nightmare. We've only had the lad for 2 days being able to train with us. The German FA gave us their blessing that he could train with us once we got his work permit, once we lodged the documentation. The transfer went through fine, it was just the work permit, and the issues of the work permit was an absolute nightmare. So the poor lad's only had a couple of days to bed himself into the team. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything's going to go well. You know, he's more than happy to play. He's relishing the chance to play and get out on the pitch and show the fans why we've made such a big investment in the young lad, because he's a young lad with a big price tag. For a club of our stature, I feel €3 million was a big investment considering we only had 6.5. So hopefully everything will go okay. But as you can see, straight away, Werder Bremen on the attack. A beautiful strike, but what a save by Trapp. Absolutely fantastic Trapp. And today's game is even bigger because we still haven't registered a victory after 4 games. And I know the board have been asking me a lot of questions about how we're going to change that. It's been, for me personally, it's been a nightmare. Working to try and get a work permit sorted and answering the board's questions has been quite a stressful week. But that's part and parcel of being a manager. As Inui picks up that ball on that left-hand side, plays it into Hakan. Hakan straight back to Inui. Inui heading for that byline, drifts the ball to the back post, and Raul Jimenez is there with an absolutely beautiful header. It was a slight mismatch. The fullback didn't have the height. Raul Jimenez knew that. He just drifted off, mismatched the situation, and bang, a beautiful header. The start of his career at Frankfurt. After 23 minutes, to deliver a goal on your debut is sensational, but to have that intelligence to just drift to that back post, mismatch yourself against the fullback, and then finish it off is absolutely sensational. It's great to see Inui bombing down that wing as well. The boy's got so much talent and he can drift a beautiful crossing. He has been working tirelessly on trying to sort out his crosses. Sometimes his crosses are good, sometimes they're poor. Then they're very indifferent at times, but he's been working on them tirelessly, and he's really proven to deliver an absolutely beautiful cross. But speaking of beautiful crosses, Jung getting down that right-hand side, he has a wicked right foot, and he can really whip them in. But as you can see, on that occasion, he doesn't whip it in. A little bit of a curse there from his manager, but it was a beautiful move. And Sebastian Jung loves to get down that side. He's fantastic. But as you can see, Werder Bremen dwell on the ball. Hakan straight in, bombing in onto goal. He squares it. Jimenez has his second goal on his debut after 45 minutes. Absolutely unselfish play there from Hakan. The boy done so well. You know, he spotted that the Werder Bremen defender was just dwelling on the ball. Looked like he didn't have a clue what he was going to do with it. He just straight onto him. Picks the ball up and a beautiful pullback for Jimenez, absolutely sensational. But Werder Bremen, to be fair, before we scored that goal, it was all Werder Bremen. And as you can see, Werder Bremen created a chance right at the death of the first half, but it was all Werder Bremen. We scored that against the counter-attack, really. We scored that against the run of play, I should say. It was just sensational intelligence and alertness from Hakan to secure that goal for Jimenez. So at half-time, strolling in, very happy with a big smile on my face, beating Werder Bremen 2-0 and 2 fantastic goals from our debutee Jimenez, and a great setup, of course, by Hakan, and the first goal by Inui was absolutely sensational. But it's Hakan again knocking that ball into Jimenez. Jimenez dropping a bit deep, trying to create for his fellow players, and it's Annunaki into the box. Unfortunately, the shot is at the perfect height for the keeper, which is a bit of a shame, but it was nice to see him get in an attacking position. The boy can finish. Give him a chance and the boy can finish, so hopefully he'll work on that. Throw is taken by Inui into Obzipka. Obzipka puts a cross in. It looks like a bit of a foul there for me. A bit of nothing, to be honest. I feel it was a soft foul. The referee does decide to award the penalty. I feel that's one of those 50-50 situations where it can go for you and it can go against you. On this occasion, it's gone for us and against Werder Bremen. I think if I was the manager, I'd be very, very disappointed with the referee. But will Jimenez have the bottle to score a hat-trick on his debut? I mean, talk about put yourself under pressure. You have 2 days at the club. You come in and you smash the ball into the back of the net to secure a 60-minute hat-trick. Is absolutely sensational. It's mind-boggling. This boy is just the Iceman. He is so cool, calm and collected. It is unbelievable. But it's Werder Bremen on the attack, breaking forward, a fantastic shot, and it looks like it struck Zambrano's hand there on the way through, and the referee decides that was enough to award a penalty. To me, that was ball to hand. There was no real indication that Zambrano was putting his hand to the ball to make a save like Kevin Trapp would, so I'm very disappointed with the referee. But in saying that, we got a soft penalty. They get a very soft penalty, and they also score and punish us for that. But I've got to say, you know, I'd rather it be 2-0 than concede such a sloppy penalty. It's really, really, you know, quite... It's just mind-boggling sometimes, the referee's decisions. It really, really is. But Trapp there pulls off an absolutely amazing save in the 71st minute. We have a corner, and I've got to say, what an absolute waste. But thankfully, it is in the last minute of play, and the referee does blow that final whistle. It was pure and utter laziness. The boys have got to learn to keep their concentration for the full 90 minutes. They can't just concentrate for 89 minutes and then just throw it all away, because we could have been punished. If that was 1-1, Werder Bremen could have quite easily gone down the other end and smashed it home to make it 2-1. They didn't on this occasion, thankfully. We did have the 3 goals from Jimenez, which is sensational debut. I've got to say, if you feel exactly the same as I do, that we've picked up a real gem, let me know in the comment section below. But we're going to go straight into the second game, and there will be 3 games in this episode. We're away to Stuttgart. The question is, will Jimenez hit the ground running for a second game? Can he get on that score sheet? Early doors, we float a beautiful crossing, a bit too close to the keeper in that 6-yard box. You've got to be really aiming him for the penalty spot. But Stuttgart straight onto attack. A beautiful, powerful shot there. Trapp gets a slight hand on that, pushes it on the post, and it's got to be said, it was all Stuttgart. Stuttgart were applying so much pressure. We didn't really create anything at all. As you can see, the ball over the top. Stuttgart had already dropped deep enough to compensate for that. Absolutely sensational play by Stuttgart. But they were just all over us for the first half. Absolutely all over us. We created absolutely nothing. A half-assed cross in the first minute and a really poor ball over the top, which, as I say, Stuttgart were already aware of. And we went in at half-time with a very disappointing 0-0. Stuttgart were definitely on the ascendancy and probably thinking they could take us quite easily. As you can see, we did have a little bit more possession. Our passing was a little bit better, but we hadn't created any opportunities, which is so frustrating. But a beautiful ball played into Jimenez. Jimenez takes the shot in the 52nd minute, and he really snatched at it. Yes, it was on his weaker foot, but he just snatched at it, unfortunately, and he sends it blazing over the bar. And then we decide to concede a really sloppy free kick. There's no need to lean over your man when you're already taller than him. Just take the header, and we get punished. Absolutely disgraceful to lean over your man. Just, you know, he's got the height on the lad. So just take the header. There's no need to foul him. But it was a beautiful free kick. Nothing you can do about free kicks like that. But Jimenez picks up the ball, tries to break forward, takes the shot, doesn't get full power on it, unfortunately. Again, he just snatched at it. I think it's because he hasn't had many chances. We as a club hadn't had many chances in this game. But Annunaki down that left-hand side digs out a beautiful floated cross. And there is Jimenez. The ball in the air. He just arcs his neck and bang, it's such a beautiful gift he has. He's just such an intelligent player. He puts himself into space. 2 defenders around him, yet he had acres of space. He moves forward and bang, what a beautiful way to equalise. Annunaki, fantastic play down that left-hand side. That boy's got pace to burn. He has got some serious skills. And again, it was a beautiful floated cross. As we speak of a floated cross, a beautiful floated ball over the top. Lacks of concentration. Both centre-backs just stand off and allow him to do it. It's absolutely ridiculous. We concede a very, very sloppy goal. And near the death, Jimenez is trying a little bit too hard to force the situation. The referee blows the final whistle. And we slump to our second defeat of the season, which is utterly, utterly disappointing. I felt that in the second half, we had a little bit more life in us. I felt that we were looking a little bit better. And we were playing better football. But we just couldn't match the tempo of Stuttgart. Stuttgart were matching us for tempo. Well, actually, they were playing a high tempo on us, and I thought we were playing a high tempo game. They really were playing out of their skin, and they really took us. To be fair, I'm going to hold my hands up and say, do you know what? We lost 2-1. That's actually a fair result. As much as, I should be biased and say that I wanted a 2-2 draw, it would have been an absolute outrage, to be honest, and Stuttgart probably would have been raging if we did manage to draw 2-2. But thankfully for Stuttgart, they got the victory. We didn't, unfortunately, which is really, really disappointing. But we're now moving into the Hamburg game. they're coming out at us. You can see that the boys have got a lack of confidence. Again, the defence is spread apart. You know, our two centre-backs, Anderson and Zambrano, have got to get an understanding with each other. They just seem to drift with each other to the same position. They've both got to get an understanding, but a beautiful cross in there, or an attempted beautiful cross. It doesn't come off, but the ball out onto Zipka on that left-hand side. He tries to dig another cross in, goes to the back post, and it's cross after cross being wasted at this moment in time. Again, we're not creating a great deal. The boys are just, you can feel the lack of confidence with the players at this moment in time. The Stuttgart game hit them quite hard. You know, that being happy of getting a nice 4-1 win against Werder Bremen, it just feels like it's gone. Like the bubble has been burst. So I decide to make a change. I bring on Klaypex to see if we can just inject some pace into the side, try and break them down, try and create something. A beautiful ball swung out to that left-hand side. Schrock takes a beautiful touch, swings it in, and what an absolutely sensational header by none other than Jimenez. Yes, Raul Jimenez. What a sensational signing he is turning out to be at this moment in time. He has paid me back in abundance. And again, the boy just drifts into space. Hardly anyone around him. He then makes that move forward and he matches the defender, who is 6'4", 6'5", and just powers the header home with no disregard for his own personal safety. Just gets stuck in, and that's what I love about him. He did have a slight knock on his elbow, but nothing too serious. Probably just be a bruise for a few days. Nothing too serious, nothing to worry about, thankfully. But Obzipka being a little bit too impetuous there. He's a fantastic fullback, but a bit too impetuous, and conceded a really sloppy free kick. Thankfully, on this occasion, we were not punished for it. But it's play like that the boys have got to get out of their game. You know, we can't give away sloppy free kicks. Schrock again breaking into that box, tries a little trick, and thankfully the Hamburg defender sticks his foot in and concedes the penalty. And as you can see, he is not happy by any stretch of imagination. But you will see from the replay, it's a foul, it's a penalty. You can't argue that. There is no way you can stand there and say, it wasn't. It wasn't. It clearly was, unfortunately. So Raul Jimenez steps up. Can he? He does. Of course he can. Second goal of the game. That is an unbelievable 6 goals thus far in 3 games. And we're only in the 80th minute. Is there time for him to notch a double hat-trick in the first 3 games of his career? Well, we shall find out. Beautiful ball to the back post. Klaypex got underneath the ball, just stuck it over, unfortunately. If he just headed it down to Jimenez, Jimenez would in fact have his double hat-trick in his first 3 games. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. The referee blew the full-time whistle, and we bounced back with a sensational 2-0 victory. And Jimenez with a further 2 goals. So the league table is not looking too good at this moment in time. But it's early days in the season, and with Jimenez on our side, I firmly believe we can go on to glory.
I used to dream about cars and things, about being a star. I thought that